We did a national research study, and 55% of people are saying that finances are their number one stress. When you have that stress, what does that cause? It causes you to make bad decisions. It causes you to make in the moment decisions.
Confidence does not come because you've now gotten $1 million. Confidence does not come because you weigh a certain amount on a scale. Confidence comes when you know what you're doing is right.
It's not that we can't afford things necessarily. We just don't know where the money's coming from. And it just continues this cycle of chaos.
Whether it's what's on your plate or what's in your wallet, the path to freedom comes down to the same truth. What if I told you that the same habits keeping you stuck with food are the very ones keeping you stuck with money? We talk all the time about becoming the healthiest version of you. But let's be real. Health isn't just about your body or your nutrition. It's also about your relationships, your mindset, and yes, your bank account. So today I am joined by two incredible women who prove that financial health is just as essential as physical health. Shana and Vanessa, better known as the Budget Besties, are helping women all over the world take control of their money with the same kind of systems, structure, and mindset shifts that I use with food. And here's the crazy part. As you're going to hear in this conversation, the principles are almost identical. Whether it's what's on your plate or what's in your wallet, the path to freedom comes down to the same truth. When you know better and do better with consistency, you change your life. Well, hey there. I am so excited about today's episode because we have, they're called Budget Besties, but I actually call them my besties because over the years, they have become my true besties when it comes to all things financial health. And they're also just such great people too. So Shana and Vanessa, Shana's the blonde and Vanessa's the brunette, because I think sometimes people probably just lump you together, Shana and Vanessa, and I just wonder if sometimes they wonder who's who.
It's just one name.
Hey, I told you this before? One time I had a client come on and I was at the end of our 6 months together. She's like, "Oh, you're Shana." I was like, "Ooh, definitely forgot to put that part in the beginning." So now I do it every time. I'm Shana, by the way.
Yes. Okay, that's super important. But in all reality, you two are just the synergistic budget besties. You are the best friends that every single woman needs to have. And I love how much you've actually contributed to my own community when it comes to women that are working to become the healthiest version of themselves. And I said to you, wait, you've been in our community for so long. Why haven't you been on my podcast yet? So this has been a long time coming, but we are going to dig into the concept of financial health being just as important as every other aspect of our health. The healthiest version of you. What does it do? What does it say? What does it think? What does it believe? And it can't just be about working out in the gym and the food that you eat. It encompasses so many other aspects of your life. And what we are going to really dig into today with Shana and Vanessa, the Budget Besties, is what it means to be healthy when it comes to finances. And I think one of the things that's so incredible when I talk to you ladies is that the stuff that I teach aligns so much with the stuff that you guys teach.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
I usually am not wrong.
Oh, so that's true.
She's like, listen.
It is. Yeah, it is true.
We did a national research study, and 55% of people are saying that finances are their number one stress. And when you have that stress, what does that cause? It causes you to make bad decisions. It causes you to make in the moment decisions, which is usually, especially with me, if I'm working from home, I'm eating bad. When I'm stressed out about something, I'm going to get something to eat or I'm digging in the pantry. And I know that it has definitely affected my health when I have been stressed about finances.
Yeah, stress impacts everything. And the stress is not just coming because we weigh a number that we don't like. Life becomes this stressful thing. And I have seen such a correlation with women who really need to take a hold of their health and women who are struggling financially. That should be another study because there's while there are 85% of women have disordered eating and thinking, the thing that I just find so often when I'm talking to women is that the financial stress is one, they almost go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. We have done many episodes together in different things, Carrie, and what you were saying is true. There's so many things that just line up that are the same mindset, the same discipline, the same grace, letting go of shame and stuff that line up with what we all talk about. I think with finances, it kind of it reminds me of, I always go back to like Hamburger Helper. When I was growing, I know, give me a minute here. Give me a minute.
All right, I got
when
you.
I was growing
I
up,
trust you.
like Hamburger Helper was the thing. I guess my mom started making it, and now we know like that is absolutely unhealthy. Please don't feed your family that, whatever, right? And now we know, but we didn't know then. I think that a lot of the problem people have with their eating, like you said, is they don't know what they don't know. They're trying to swim in a sea of misinformation, and there's so much information, and they haven't found care yet to kind of distill it and make it simple for them. And it's kind of the same thing with finances. You know, a couple generations ago, we didn't even have credit cards. Okay. Now we have credit cards. Everything is on subscription. You have so many ways to spend your money. You have so many people willing to give you debt that you can just pile that up if you want. And then there's just the everyday, little stuff like, okay, I want to join Carrie's program. I want to get serious. I'm going to spend a little differently with my food. How do I afford that? Like literally how? Not that I can't, but how do I put that into practice? There's a lot. And you know what we find is people just would rather avoid it, rather just stick their heads in the sand and just hope for the best, rather than just taking ownership of it, looking at it like you are every time you work it out. We talked about that before. And just owning it and like figuring it out and being confident and letting it and making that, making progress,
But I think that there's so much fog like in their brain. They're so fogged by, like Shana said, the misinformation of what should I do? What should I not do? And I'm stressed about my finances. So I don't know if I can afford it. So they're not sleeping, which is affecting their health. Like there's just so many things that wrap around in this. And like you said, and we've seen it, it ties so hand in hand, your finances and your health and your fitness. So just trying to get one thing, and we say you can't do it all at once. Like you can't work everything at the same time. So if you can like dissect it and go, okay, right now I'm going to focus on this one area so that way I can be mentally ready to do the next thing. But trying to do it all together it can be overwhelming.
Yeah. And what I'm hearing you guys say, and this is what we know, it's just so incredible because the problem is very similar in both of our industries. It is very confusion. There's not a lot of clarity. I kind of want to ignore it. I don't want to have to think about it so much. I don't want to obsess about it. But then we think that the alternative is I just don't think about it at all.
Yeah,
And those two are not the options. Like they're not, neither one of them is going to work. So the problem, and my industry and your industry are so similar. But here's what's crazy is that the solution is also so similar. When we talk about the fact that like it's BS, the whole credit card industry and the way that they manipulate us. My niece right now, like we had to do a full intervention because she survived on credit cards, 30% for almost a year. And she is so upside down at 24 years old that she was never getting out of it unless I actually helped her to see something very different. And it required discipline. It required consistency, but it also required thinking very differently. I mean, she said she would go through the grocery store and just put stuff in her cart. And now she actually thinks about what she's putting in her cart. But what she said and what women that I work with say all the time is once I actually learn a solution that is sustainable, that gives me power and control, I am so much more confident. And I always say confidence does not come because you've now like gotten $1 million. Confidence does not come because you weigh a certain amount on a scale. Confidence comes when you know what you're doing is right. And the problem is so similar in both of our industries, but the solution is also similar. So I'm so excited to dive into how you help women with a solution that is different than I have ever had anybody really teach before. And my husband and I dug in deep back in, I want to say I can remember where we were traveling. It was in May when we fully dove into the Budget Besties system, and it has changed everything. I sent you guys a message. I said, we make a good income between us, and I feel, but I always felt like there was nothing left at the end of the month. And it was like 2 kids in college and just all of the things. We literally now have money at the end of every month, and we aren't giving up any of the things. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And all of my clients have been saying the same thing, which in turn helps us to feel and know and be healthier. So let's talk solutions, ladies.
Okay. I think that's a great plan. I want to talk solutions. I also, just real quick, because I'm a cheater, I know you want to move on, but I want to say, if our ladies can just give themselves grace, sometimes people will say, well, I wasn't taught how to budget, or I wasn't taught how to shop at the grocery store. It's not only that, friend. Yes, you were not taught, and that's not fair. That's a bummer. but you were also completely like ganged up on with misinformation. I think about the health industry. I think about the food pyramid. I think about whatever's ingredients. We don't need to go there. I'm sure you go there all the time, but that it was an agenda.
If I go there, I won't come back out.
Right. Yeah.
So
We won't. Right.
let me
It was
go
an
there.
agenda against you. And it's the same with your finances. It maybe not as big of a, a evil plan, but whatever you have been taught, student loans, credit, all of that, it was on purpose and it was misinformation and it was not helpful to you. And so please give yourself grace.
Yeah.
As you do this, give yourself grace to understand that not only were you not taught, but you also taught the wrong thing. So that's why you're where you are. It's not that you, as we always say, you're not shopping at Gucci and that's why you're where you are. It's because of that. So let's give yourself grace. And then you'll just listen to everything that we all three say and everything will be great. It's easy.
Right.
It's
Well,
easy.
I have a brand new client and she sent me a message and she said, well, what about the credit card points? And I said, well, you're $20,000 in debt. So you tell me if those credit card points are working. And she was like, oh, but it's just, again, this misinformation of like, this is what you should be doing. This is how you make it work. This is how you get ahead. This is this. And it falls into now they're, again, $20,000 in debt and they don't know how they got there because they were trying to work this system that made them think that they were going to get ahead and get free things. Right. And it's not, and that, again, that's just one small example, but it's just something, again, that's out there against you that makes you think that it's for you.
That's why the belief systems are the first thing. Like the mindset piece with what I teach and the mindset things that you guys teach go so hand in hand. We have to be learning. And I always say, if you want something different, you got to do something different. You got to learn the right approach, the approach that we know is guaranteed to work. That's both of us. But we also have to do a lot of unlearning.
Yeah.
And I mean,
sure.
I will say, like, I've been following you guys forever. And I finally was like, okay, I'm ready to unlearn. And I think that there's like a readiness level. Like I was not, I was like, I can't be 50 years old and keep going around this mountain having the same conversation that I've had with my husband for literally 25 years.
Well, and we tell people it's never too late. We have some people come to us in their 20s, their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I mean, all age groups. And the thing is that they finally get going and they see a different way because for so long they've thought or they've learned or they didn't learn and they just went and what they're doing isn't working and they want to do something different because they want to get ahead. Yeah. And if you can just start a system and understand the why behind like what you were doing, we always ask two questions, like what were you doing and what do you want to be doing? And those are two very different things usually. And we just get them on a path to success. Well,
we want you, the readiness level is important, but for us, it also starts with start dreaming again. We just did a testimonial with former clients right before we hopped on with you, and they were having their finances were separate. Similarly, maybe they were having discussions that weren't fun about money. Every time it come up, it's like tense, and then she was racking up debt, whatever. They came together. They paid off the credit cards. Now they're planning to retire in Montana with their horse ranch, and they've got money stacking up in that account. That's what we want for you. We want you to start with what is something exciting that you can start with a goal and a vision for your life and what your money can do. You have to be able to define what success is going to look like. Otherwise, you're just getting on a budget because you've been a bad girl, and that's not a motivator. Yeah.
Well, and she even said it's easy to be able to stay within like some boundaries with our spending because we have a goal, we have a vision, we know what our why is, we know what we're trying to achieve with all this. And so it is, they have all their automation set up, they have everything going, their spending accounts, their savings accounts, and they don't have to touch it because it does it on its own. But it's because of their why. It's because they set that vision together and they're both trying to achieve it together as a team.
And so they did come together for, our step 2, Carrie, you said, well, what do we teach? Well, we want you to build a budget. After you figure out why you're doing this, you might be doing it because you've been crying about money or you can't it feels like you never can afford anything. Or maybe you just want to get out of debt. There's a lot of different whys there, but then building your budget. And we feel like we have tried to make this as simple as possible, which is where we want you to get everything on one page. And by everything, we mean your income, your debt, your bills, your spending, and your savings. And we are, I think, unique. And then that's how we categorize your budget. It's not needs, wants, like just
variable,
variable expenses. You have bills, you spend money, and you want to save money for fun things, right? That's really what getting everything on one page, because the other thing is you may not have had everybody's income on one page. You may not have had all the subscriptions on one page at one time. So it's really eye-opening, that first step to build your budget.
Well, and Carrie, you can be a good testimony to this because you now have your one-page budget. So you talk to us about how it has been being able to see everything together.
Yeah, it was really crazy when we did that because we had a budget. We just never followed it, ever. And we didn't write down all the things. Like, for example, we have Chewy, the dog food subscription, like the dog food that comes every month. It just we're like, oh, we got to get more dog food. And and then it's like, where is that coming from? Like, we don't budget for it. When we actually wrote it all down and we realized we were like, we subscribe to every single streaming platform there is. And we're literally like, what's this password? What's this password? And I'm like, and when we put that down on paper, we're like, holy heck, there's a lot here. And it was just the very first time. Also, we'll go to the vet and it will cost $600. And when we look back on that, I'm like, wait a minute, we didn't have that budgeted, but we spent it, and we've been spending that every year that we have to go and get vaccinations. And so it was a very eye-opening procedure for us to be honest with what we were doing and just to get it all down on paper. And everything that you're saying, it's exactly the same process with getting healthy. Why do you want to get healthy? And then let's get it all down on paper in terms of what are we doing right now? And what are the things that we know are leading us towards our goals and are not? And so we actually took a lot of things off of that list because we realized we didn't even need it.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we want your budget to match your goals and your vision. And if it doesn't, then things have to change.
Well, we're empty nesters now, and we want to go out to dinner a lot.
Yes,
I will
girl.
say.
Let's go.
Do it.
That restaurant budget.
And we have a
Let's
restaurant
go.
that's walking distance, and we're and so that was we don't want to give that up.
Yeah.
So, but we did we gave up? We were door dashing a lot of stuff.
Oh, no, ma'am. Absolutely not.
I was like,
Unacceptable.
what? And the other day we went out for breakfast, not realizing how expensive it was. Breakfast is a lot, and all you're getting is eggs. So we made the decision the other day. We're like, we're not going out for breakfast anymore.
We can do breakfast at home. Okay, we got a couple things to cover here. First of all, I think we haven't officially decided this, but I think Vanessa and I, Budget Besties official policy, no DoorDash. Either you want to go out to eat and have that special time and have it be fun, or you're eating at home and you're not paying double for somebody to bring it to you. It's we're all bougie. We are all bougie. We can get to that later, but that is a bridge too far. Okay, that's a bridge too far. The other thing I wanted to go back to is everything being on one page, Carrie. So your subscriptions, I think it's so funny with the streaming. I'm like, at this point, we've all replaced the cable bill that we pulled the plug so we could save money. And now we're just adding these all in, and now it still equals what our cable bill.
I literally do not know the passwords to anything.
Yeah,
I do Netflix. That. If it's not on Netflix, I did a post the other day, and I'm like, give me some shows, but it has to be on Netflix.
Yes.
And then my husband was like, then why do we have all these other platforms? I'm like, that is a great question.
It is a great question. So that's what doing this. So a bill is anything with a due date. So you're going back and you're saying Chewy has a due date. Now Hulu has a due date, all of these things. And getting it all on one paper then allows you to make the decision if we want to change things up. And I have a pro tip here. Your post of what's on Netflix, we have a client, they change it every month. They get a different subscription, or every 2 months. When they've run out of everything to watch on Netflix, then they're like, okay, we're going to get HBO for a month or whatever. And then we're going to watch all the stuff, and they keep rotating it so they can get new stuff. I'm like, that's really genius.
Yeah, it does require more manual doing,
but
I think it's genius.
I was like, that's genius. So, but that is the beauty of getting it all on one page. And then you were mentioning all the different things you want to spend money. That's going in your spending. You have groceries and gas when we're talking about spending. You have your restaurants, which you guys are having. Yep. And then you also mentioned savings, which we're going to get to, setting aside for these bigger fun things that we want to do, and the not so fun things like taking the dogs to the vet. But that is a savings bucket, and we want to have that money set aside so that you actually know where it's coming from. That is usually not the problem. It's not that we can't afford things necessarily. We just don't know where the money's coming from. And it just continues this cycle of chaos.
Well, yeah. When I realized what we're spending in our dogs over a year, and I'm sure you'll get to this, but I literally divided that by 12, and that's how much we put in that little bucket. And so when that comes up, it's like, I got the money in there.
Right. And I think that's, yes, we'll get to that in a minute, but people forget that these expenses are coming. They call them, well, what about all the things that pop up in the month? And I'm like what? Like your kid's birthday in 3 weeks? You didn't know that was going to happen? I mean, these things happen. Christmas, it's on its way,
nails.
Guys. Yes.
I literally would be like, I have to get my nails done. Okay. Do I have Yeah. All right. I'll just
I
get
have
that.
$3. Okay, never mind.
I'll just get that. It was just but it was always like, it wasn't really going to happen. But
wasn't
then I
planned.
decided that, it was going to happen. And then I put it down and now I have a beauty bucket.
Yes. There you go.
Alliteration.
Beauty.
As well.
Love it. Okay. So we talked about building your budget, and then Shana alluded to having an account that just pays your bills. And again, a bill is anything with a due date. And so what we want to do is have a separate account that just pays your bills. It does nothing else. You are not in there. You're not swiping. There's nothing else happening in there.
When you say account, you mean checking account at the bank.
Yes, Carrie.
This
very good.
It's huge. Everybody needs to know this. This is a little known secret that is, it's a checking. Every time that they say account, they mean checking account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A separate checking account.
Separate account.
Yeah. And it does nothing but pay your debt payments and all of your bills. And again, that is still a bill. It's got a due date. Like Shana said, anything with a due date is a bill. That's very, very, very important.
Just for things that have a due date.
Mm-hmm.
And that are usually reoccurring.
Yeah. And that are reoccurring. Our paychecks go into that account.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
That's step one. The income goes into the bills account and your bills are going to get paid. And then, well, it's not step one. Apparently it's step three. We've gone through some steps. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, the income, that is part of it. Yeah. Making sure your direct deposit, all of your income is going on your budget, by the way. We didn't mention that, but just remember your bonuses, your refunds, taxes, whatever, all of that goes.
Commission. Yeah.
And so then you have the bills account. And then, hey, speaking of the little known secret that you can have more than one account, what? Then we're going to open some more checking accounts, right? Because we're going to separate your spending. That really is the magic of what we teach.
I think this is the thing that people, I don't know, you guys know this better than I do, but every time I mention it, they're like, what? Why? Like, what? More than one. I have, I think, 5 checking accounts now.
I think it's usually the husbands, honestly, that are like, this is too much. We can't do this. And then they do it. And then they're the biggest fans afterwards, because we say you have to separate to simplify. Mm-hmm. In order to simplify your spending and understand where it's going, you do need to separate into a couple of different checking accounts. But literally, it's just 3 or 4 debit cards that you have with you, because you're not spending out of the bills account. So that debit card is not with you. That one's at home in the safe. So you literally just have gas and groceries, your restaurant account, and maybe your personal fun account. So there's not a lot of debit cards that you're carrying, but they're labeled, they're organized, and you know exactly when you go to spend money, exactly, what account it's coming from. We would have
just had 3, but then Peter and I each wanted our own fun account.
Yes.
That was important to us. So that's why we have 5, but I only have debit cards for a couple of them. And I have on big Sharpie marker on the debit card, gas, groceries, dining out. In fact, our dining out card, we could choose whatever picture we wanted. It's bacon and eggs.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I just got onto my bank because they sent me the wrong picture. And I was like, listen, you don't understand how important it is to have this specific design on my card. I'm going to need you to reorder that.
That is so fun. I love that.
The secret juice here that matters so much. And it's so incredible.
Yeah, it is incredible because so now we've got separate checking accounts for your spending. And, the pushback we get, like Vanessa said, people are like, that seems complicated. No, what's complicated is you have one account that everything is trying to come out of. You have no idea really what's going on, how much money you really have. Right now, when you open these separate accounts and your budget's going to tell you how much you put in them, Carrie, you have $300 in your spending account. That's all you need to think about. You don't have to think about, okay, I have $300, but the mortgage, did that come out? And what about my gym membership? None of that has to come through your brain. You're just like, I have $300. Mm-hmm. How do I want to spend it? And I mean, maybe you don't have to do it that way. It's up to you how you want to be excited about it. But the same goes for your groceries and gas. That was always so important to me, Carrie. I feel like when you're talking about how you get to the end of the month and you have no money, I'm like, but people still have to eat. It's kind of annoying. They still have to eat food and I don't have any money for said food. What do I do? So having the gas and groceries separate for me was my favorite. Mm. And knowing that there's money there all throughout the month, even not at the end, we can still eat. We're not fasting for the last week. It's fine.
Well, yeah. And let's say you put, just for dollar amounts, $400 in for groceries, right? And you do $100 a month. I don't know who can do that, but let's just say you do.
$100 a week. Yep.
$100 a week. I'm sorry. And then you're thoughtful about what you're putting in your cart, as opposed to thinking I just got a grocery shop. I just got to feed my family. I just got to put it all in there. I'm actually thoughtful about it. And that's why I use Instacart too, because Instacart to me gives me all that control of just going back in and what my staples and then the extra things in there. And I can see the dollar amount
Yeah, or reduces temptation in the moment too when you're in the store grocery shopping.
Yes.
Well,
and it
and
saves me a lot of time, like hours.
I want to pinpoint that word thoughtful that you said, because I think that's really good, because when we're talking about health, dieting, people can feel restricted. We're not asking you to be restricted. We want you to set a budget that feels good, that feels comfortable, but you are going to be thoughtful because you know that sticking to this budget that you've set yourself, nobody's telling you what to do, you set it yourself, is also what's making the trip to Italy happen next summer, right? Because I'm sticking to this, yay, I get to go do that.
Yeah. And I think that it's the discipline of declining that I teach women very often. It's like, listen, it's not about restriction. It's actually about freedom. And you would never go to work and just have like no plan, not think about it, or just go hog wild and not follow any of the policies that are in your job. Like you would be fired in a second. But yet we do these very important things in our life, like money, finances, like food and health. And we either are completely obsessive or we're like, I don't want to think about it anymore. And I just think we have to be intentional and thoughtful, but in a very healthy way. And I think that this is where the unlearning comes in. I don't think a lot of people have had a healthy relationship with money to even know what that should feel like. So the minute we think about discipline, we think negative. But in all reality, it gives us so much freedom to be able to do whatever it is. I remember a couple of months ago when we had like a big number in our dining out budget left. And Peter called all the kids and their boyfriends or significant others. And we're like, we're all going out to dinner. And it was so much fun because we had this like freedom to like just know that we could do that without any sort of stress.
Right. Well, and I want to go back to when Shana said you have one account to that you're trying to make all these transactions happen and everything throughout the month versus now you have a couple of accounts and the amount of money you have in those accounts now become your budget. So you don't have to, there's no math, there's no adding or subtracting, there's no in the moment trying to in the checkout line going, okay, I've got mortgage coming out and I have this coming out, but do I actually have $200 left for groceries? You don't have any of that. So now you can really see, like you said, you pulled up that account, the dining out account, and saw exactly how much you had left. It was able to treat your family. You didn't have to do any math. Yeah. So it's just, it makes it way more simple and way just less complicated.
But here's the thing though, Vanessa, and this is what people will say. If they use credit cards, they don't have to think about that. Right? You don't have to worry if you're going to be able to have enough money at the end of the month for groceries because you can just put it on your credit card. And that's where these short-term, quote unquote, fixes that don't get me started about all of the diet trends and weight loss shots and all the things that we try to get these short, quick fixes, but it's actually more harmful at the end of the day.
Right. Well, and when you said you don't have to worry about it, that's false. That is a lie you're telling yourself. What you're doing is creating a problem for future you to solve, and that's not fair at all to future you. Future you, we say it all the time, future you might be having an air conditioning that she has to fix, or she might have a dental procedure that she needs to do, and now you've created a problem for her to solve on top of that problem that she's going to have for future use. So that is not correct. You are still going to have to worry about it. You're still going to have to worry about how much you put on your credit card.
You're just delaying.
And now what you're doing is you're adding interest to the problem, right? You're paying interest. So we're going to talk about debt here in a minute. Let's really quick go to our next step is to start your savings buckets, which we love. Some of them are really fun.
When do you get into the automation piece? Because that's my favorite
coming.
part.
We got to get there.
Stay tuned because this is my 20-year-old daughter's favorite.
Oh, that's fun.
That is my favorite.
Just so you know, I don't even think I've told you how free my 20-year-old is now.
This is the coolest thing.
She literally said to me, everything about my life is just so much better because I'm in control of my money. Like, I was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, we'll get to that.
Please hold. That's coming after the commercial break. Okay.
Hold the phone.
Yeah. So starting your savings
my button just got unbuttoned. So well, keep going. Talk.
Okay. It's the cutest little jumper, romper, whatever it is.
It is cute.
So when you built your budget, which we did way back in step 2, you put in savings buckets. Savings buckets are helping you save for all the things like Vanessa alluded to earlier. You're planning ahead for non-monthly, but 100% expected expenses. As she said, we get people say, it was unexpected that I had to pay for Christmas. It was unexpected that the tuition for this thing was due. It was unexpected that I was going on vacation or that Halloween costumes or whatever. All of it's expected. We just need a minute to plan it, to think it through, put it on paper. And then we're going to set up accounts in which you can start saving for those things so they don't blow your monthly budget.
Yeah. It is so nice to be able to, my husband the other day said, hey, we need to get this. And I'm like, well, we need to pull that out of the home account this month. And so we have our home account, which is all things home from top to bottom, your car maintenance, all things that related to the car. It is so nice to be able to know that you have the cash to fund these things when they pop up, because they are expected, they're coming, and we want to be able to fund them and not pull from our everyday budget. For instance, I had a client one time, she said, well, what am I supposed to do? I have my HOA, it's $800 for the boat that's due this January. And I said, well, we're going to pay it right now, but then we're going to divide that number by 12, and you're going to start in a savings account, an annual bill savings account, because, hey, that's an annual bill. It has a due date. It's due every single year. And you're going to save every month for that. It's a non-negotiable. And she literally said, I have never thought about that. And no one ever told me that. And that just makes
Nobody tells us that.
Right. It just makes so much sense. In her brain, it was like a massive light bulb moment that we're actually going to be planning ahead. Because if you take $800 and divide it by 12, that's way more manageable than trying to come up with $800 in a month where you also have a birthday. You might also have Christmas. You may also have, like Shana said, an AC bust, right? So we're just trying to be more proactive.
And these are savings accounts or accounts. They could be checking, I guess, too, but they're just accounts. And I mean, I will say I screwed up this year a little bit because I didn't think about the fact that my kids were going to college and like they were going to need stuff for college. And so that didn't like play into our budget, right? And so now we paid for it all. And now it's like next year we know we got to add that in to our kind of annual budget. But it is so incredible when this is a 1% concept. This is like the 1% that I teach all the time around showing up for your health. If you take that 800 divided by 12, it doesn't feel like that much. And that's where it's like little bits and pieces over time add up. And I can't wait till we get to automations, because you actually don't even have to think about it other than that one time you decide what that 800 divided by 12 is.
Yeah. Right. Yep. And we're going to get super quick to that. We are just going to mention here that if you can, you're going to want some of these bigger ones to be in high yield savings accounts, not just regular savings accounts, because you're going to be stacking up cash. I have clients that are graduating and they have no homework, right? They don't ever have anything to do because they're so good. And I said, you know what? I'm going to have you go back to your savings accounts and see how much money you made all year. I want you to go just see every deposit you made from all the interest, and that's going to be your homework. And they're so excited to do that. So you can do that with your savings buckets because, as you alluded to, Carrie, you might have one that's $800 a year, but you might have one that's $5,000 a year. And you might as well be making money on that, honey. And that, when you talk about 1%, I'm talking about 1% of the population that is like really good with money. We're going to become like that. So, okay. So our next step is break up with debt.
Let me just say this. It makes me think about my escrow, like my mortgage and my taxes in escrow. Like I'm paying that every month. We're doing that when we have a mortgage and our taxes go in escrow.
When you're forced to do it, you're doing it.
You're forced to do it. So it's the same exact concept. If it works for them, it will work for us.
Yes, it will.
Okay. Or really quick, you could not do your homeowner's insurance in your escrow or your property taxes in your escrow and do it yourself. And you have an annual bill savings bucket and you have that in a high yield and you're making money. We just
started doing that.
You're making money on your money all year instead of the bank making money in your escrow account all year. Okay. I just had to throw that out there. I'm so sorry.
Yes. Okay.
Yep. We just started doing that. It was like another like aha moment.
Yeah. Yep. We're all growing up together.
I mean, I'm paying it anyway. I might as well pay it to myself.
Right.
100%. And the bank doesn't need to be the only one making money off of your money. Okay. So we want you to break up with debt. We don't want to belabor this point. Our basic idea here is that we want you to stop using credit cards and start using your own money. Right? That's the idea. We're not going to go all gazelle intense or whatever, beans and rice that you have to pay off your debt. The most important thing for us is the habit change of not using debt. You can afford your own life. You should be paying for it in cash. Your credit cards are the points. We don't care about the points. We don't care about any of that. It's the credit score. That's not what matters. We want you to become your own bank and pay for your own stuff because you can.
Yeah. And the biggest thing here is people don't believe that you can pay off debt and still have a fun lifestyle, like have a restaurant dining out fund and all that. We have seen it for years with our business that you can do both. And so we want to show people that you can. Just want you to stop relying on debt, right? Just stop using it and start using and, paying for things with cash. And then, hey, let's look at if paying off debt is your goal. Sometimes with our clients, it's not. Like sometimes they're like, listen, I just want to pay the minimums and I want to do all these other things. That's great. If paying off debt is your goal, we want to show you how you can buy your pumpkin spice latte and you can pay off debt.
Yeah, it's about what's important to you.
Right.
Right. And that's what I love. You don't just hand them like I just won't hand somebody a meal plan.
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, I'm going to help you with the tenets of
Mhm.
like really sustainable, satisfying, and effective health. And then we're going to make it work in your life. And
Right.
that's exactly what you guys do, which is why there's just so many parallels.
Now, here's where we cheat though. Yours, they still have to make their own meals. Well, maybe not. There's some ways to that. Everything we just talked about, you can make happen automatically. And so we did a podcast early in the year, Carrie, about basically it's like if you just get yourself up and go to the gym on January 1st, then you don't have to get out of bed again. Like that's what we want you to do. We want you to set up the automations we're about to talk, and then your budget's going to budget for itself, and you don't actually have to do anything at all. And that's cheating because your folks, sorry about that, like they have to like prep or plan meals. They have to do things like we're all done with that. We're just automatic.
Yeah,
We're
but
on
you
the
know what I
automatic
do?
line.
We do teach systems
Okay.
so that you don't have the decision fatigue. You
Right.
just actually use the systems in your life so then you could actually think about the things that you really should be thinking about. And that's what you're doing. You're setting up a system so that you can actually practice the discipline and the freedom of actually living within a budget. But that part,
Yeah.
that's huge not to have to think about what we're about to talk about.
What we heard with our client earlier is like, she says, I just go into the budget system to check off the boxes. So what we've created is a system that all you have to do is just check off the boxes and have a good time and look at the pretty budget.
Yeah, that's
basically what
like you were talking about, Carrie, where you pop in there when you're working out. It's like because it's kind of fun to look at and
pretty.
And I like to check boxes on. Okay, so automations.
Yeah. So if we look at an automatic budget system, this is like the whole picture. Your income is coming into your bill system or your bills account. Your bills account is funding your spending. It's funding your savings. Like imagine being able to set something set it up one time and not have to do it ever again. Like not literally have to touch it again.
So this is really simple. It might sound complicated, but it's not. So you have that 1-page budget that we had you make, right? You had your bill, your income, your debts, your bills, your spending, and your savings. And our budget system, it does all the math for you. So as you put all of that in there, you know how much money you have left to spend based on your income, right? Or you have left to budget. And so let's say, like you alluded to earlier, Carrie, well, I'm not going to do that. Let's say you have $1,000 for groceries budget, right? And you put that in your budget. That's your monthly, we're planning in terms of the month, right? But if you're like normal people, if you put $1,000 in an account, it's probably going to be gone in the first week. Yeah. We're not going to do that. What's going to happen is you're going to set up transfers from your bills account. Because remember, all the income's going in there. So you're good.
We're not looking at the bills account.
We're not even worried about it.
Right.
And so what's going to happen is $250 from your bills account will go into your groceries account every week. And that way you just have to like wake up and go to the grocery store or Instacart, like, hey, here for that. But you just have to live in that $250, and you know every week I'm getting $250 more, and that actually really helps you because
it's like an allowance,
right? It's like an allowance.
Well, just put some guardrails around it.
Well, and also most families have some sort of rhythm, like about how much they spend weekly, because you know maybe you're planning on the weekend, you grab your pickup or whatever, and so that's what the automatic transfer is. It can be. You can set it up to transfer from bills to your groceries account, $250 every Friday, whatever day works for you, automatically, ongoing. And you can do that for every single line item in your spending and your savings. And then when you wake up in the morning, you have money for all the things. It's amazing.
Think about it. Your personal spending money is funded every week or bi-weekly, however you want to do it. Your gas and groceries, your dining out account, your Christmas account, your annual bills account, like all of these things that are important to you that you want to make sure happen, they're funded because you've set up the automatic transfers to make it happen.
This has been game changing for my daughter, for us too. But when my 20-year-old had one account and she would work all summer long and she'd have this chunk of money in there, she had no idea. Like she was just, I have a bunch of money in my account. So she could go out.
Good job though. Like, let's be honest about that.
I know. She made a couple $1,000 this summer. It was great. But she also, we don't give her money while she's in school. She has to have her own spending money. So we started doing the math and realized like how much money we did this, the step 2, right? Of like, what is it that you're spending? And when we laid it all out, she realized, oh gosh, this isn't going to get me through the semester. We did this sort of like halfway through the summer. And so we made she's the kind of kid that's like, I can't tell her what to do. She has to decide she really wants to do it. And she checks her app on her phone all the time with the bank account. But we had a budget system, like one of those apps that you download for budgets. She was never going in it. Never. And she said, it scares me too much to go in there. Like I don't want to do it. So she liked going into her app and her bank account because she could just see the dollar amount, but it was just $1 amount. So when we made her those different accounts and she just sees it clean on her bank app, and it literally, you can change the name of the accounts. And so she knows this is my spend money for the month, right? This is my gas money. And it automatically goes. So we have all of her that big chunk of money in one account, and automatically she has these automatic transfers that come in. And she said to me, it's like I have an allowance. And she said, I am going into school right now feeling so confident and ready and being able to take a hold of my health. And now she's trying to find some work to make money for next semester. And she said, she knows it's not money she needs right now. I mean, that's like incredible for a 20-year-old to be able to learn. You guys are literally changing family trees, because how much more can we get out of life if we start with this process now?
Yeah, I think that's such a huge point. And thank you for being a testimonial to that. I think that is huge. One of the things that we love and when we tell our clients when they come on for coaching is this isn't something that you are just going to use yourself. Mm-hmm. You're going to be able to pass this on to your kids and your grandkids. Mm-hmm. It is a whole generational new way to think about your finances and how to do money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what I say about health, right? Like with everything that I teach around blood sugar belief systems and behavioral science, like when they can learn it, they can teach their kids. And so this is just such another parallel around being the healthiest version of ourselves. So have we gone through all the steps?
Yeah, we have. There's one more, but I want to say, first of all, you kept saying automatically, and I wanted to pop this word in that someone told us about automagically, and I thought it was really fun because automagically I wake up and I have money in all my accounts, and it's really fun. And so what you were saying with your daughter is it mimics the envelope system. Like people used to use cash envelopes, and then it would have a name on it, and you know exactly how much money you have for that, and it's very clear. We're just bringing that into the modern era. Like your daughter's like, we have people who are like, I'm not willing to touch cash gross, you know, so we get it. So you're just bringing those envelopes and you're putting them, your bank account, each account is an envelope, right? And like you said, very, very important note, you can rename them. You can have fun with it. Some banks even let you use emojis. Don't get me started. Okay.
Oh, I don't know that we have emoji options.
Yes. And then every time you get paid, whatever transfer cycle you're set up on, you watch your savings buckets grow. To me, that's really, really exciting. And that leads to the last step, which is you can be bougie on a budget. As we just got off the testimony we were just talking about. They have horses. Their daughters are in travel gymnastics.
So I feel like that's like the definition of bougie.
Yeah.
Well, and their kids are in private school,
like, and they're funding all of that, right? And that's what we mean by bougie on a budget. Everybody's different, right? You know, you might like really high quality food, and that is your bougie version, right? Or you might like to travel, or like you guys are in your empty nest area. We're like, we're eating out, and we are not eating out breakfast, but we're eating out, and we're going to enjoy it. Like that is what the point is. Get this all set up. You can see what you can afford, and you can be bougie on a budget.
Yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt. It really is life-changing for us. And I'll say for the first time, my husband and I were on the same exact page because we were following the same plan. And so I made him listen to you guys before we even sat down. It literally took him, I think it was like an hour-long video that I had him listen to. And it took him like, I don't know, a whole week to listen to it on his way back and forth to work. But after that week, he was like, I get it. I'm all in. And so I just think that when you can do it together, that's really going to be huge. And I'll say this, both my daughter's waitress, and whenever they get cash, they want to give us the cash so we could sell them the money so that they could put it in their accounts. Which I think
it's really important. Like when you have cash and you're not using a cash system and it's like, okay, but wait, how do I get this in my account? Mm-hmm. And if you don't have a local bank, sometimes that can be.
Or your parents are your local bank.
Yes, or your parents. Like, that's an easy fix. No, but I'll
take the cash. I never have cash. I'll take the cash once in a while.
But, you know, I want to go back to Shana saying being bougie on a budget. It means something different for everyone. It's really important for you to know that this system is not cookie cutter. It's very unique and customizable to what you have going on, what your lifestyle looks like. And don't worry about what the next person is doing. We're not doing this 20%, 30%, whatever. It is based on your needs, your wants, your goals, your life.
I love that. That's because everybody's life is different. And so it's not a script, and you guys don't provide a script, but you provide these guardrails and these tenets that I just think we've never been taught before. And I feel like that's what I do in my work, and that's what you guys do in yours. So you have changed so many of my clients' lives because you come on as a coach with our clients, which I think is such an amazing perk for working with us, because you guys are such an amazing asset to their health. And so, and we've had multiple people that said, like, on paper, I felt like I couldn't afford to work with a financial coach, but in all reality, I couldn't afford not to. So help us know how people can connect with you, work with you. I mean, you have like some really amazing initial tools that a lot of my clients will start out with. So where can they get all that?
Okay. Well, initial tools. If you just want to dive in a little bit, first of all, we have our own podcast, Financial Coaching for Women.
And I've been on it.
Yeah.
Dip your toe in it.
We've had really cool guests like Carrie on there. And so, that's a free tool. We love to help you. We have a Facebook group. We have office hours for free. We have all kinds of stuff for free. We have the beginning of our budget, which is just a 1-page printable, which you can get at budgetbesties.com/budget template. But I think what you've heard from Carrie, what you've heard, if you've been in her community, you probably should just go all in.
Yeah.
And you can go to budgetbesties.com/Carrie. Because that's where our budget system lives. It has Carrie's beautiful picture on there. That's important.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
she's in pink.
Yeah, in pink. And you just go there and you can find out about our budget system that we've just been talking about. That's going to come with the hour-long video that she made her husband watch, but also walkthroughs for every like smaller bite-sized
and the spreadsheet, the pretty pink spreadsheet.
It's important.
Yes,
the pretty
it's
pink
beautiful.
spreadsheet with check boxes.
Yeah.
Listen, when you check something off, Carrie, it dims out and you're like, oh, I feel so good about my life. Like you could have done anything else bad that day, but like now everything is beautiful and wonderful. Yeah.
And, you know, if you need some more testimonials, there are plenty of your clients, Carrie, like you said, in your community group that have used it. If you need some more help, they'll be more than happy to answer your questions and get you connected.
Yeah. And I will say too, like if you want to go all in, it's literally like the cost of you, like for me and my 2 kids to go out to dinner is basically what it's like. Yeah. It's not this whole like huge, big, crazy investment. Like it's amazing. And then I always say like having a coach allows you to then be accountable. So you could always take it to the next level of actually being coached, which I think
we do coaching. Yep, for sure. Yep.
Which is amazing. And one of my coaches who is a client is one of your clients. And she texted me and she said, this was the best investment I've ever made. I am going to pay cash for Christmas, which I have never done. And she has kids in her 20s. I've never done in my entire life before. And she's excited about it as opposed to dreading the cost and the burden of Christmas. She's like, she can't wait. And so I'm so proud of her for believing in the idea of like, I have to invest in myself in order to actually make the difference I want to make in my life.
I'll tell you what, she was very hesitant to sign on just because of I get it. Like, I totally get it. She has been one of the best clients I've ever had. She's amazing. I love her. She graduates next month. I cannot wait for her to share. I know she's going to come on and share her story with you. And so, yeah, that would be a great way to listen to some more information.
It's really, really powerful. So, okay, now you're not just my bestie, but you're everybody that listens to the Diet Disruptors podcast bestie as well. So budgetbesties.com, you can go see their podcast, go get all their tools. You can go to budgetbesties.com/Carrie to be able to get the kind of special offer that they put together just for people who are their besties with me.
Yes.
And so super excited. Ladies, Shana and Vanessa, you are just amazing. I love the work that you're doing. I love the synergy between what we do. And I just can't wait for more good stuff together.
Yes. More good stuff. All good things. All good things. We love you too. We're so honored to come and we have so much fun every time we get to talk to you.
It is. It's such a blessing. Thank you so much, Carrie, for this opportunity.
So far.